God, I love that intro every single time. I don't know, Evan. That's the first time have you seen our intro before?
Yeah,
I love it.
I saw it before you saw it.
Oh well, I'm just saying. I love it. I have an echo now, so it's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the #1 wrestling podcast in the world, right here on the FinTalk Sports Network. I, of course, am your gracious and most wonderful host of any show, Evan. Any show. I'm trolling. I'm trolling big time. I trolled Evan on his show right before this one. I don't know. I'm just in a trolling mood. I think Alfred's trollness is wearing off on me. as I trolled. I trolled Clutch's show the other day about the Miami Heat.
Be surprised I'm even here.
Oh my god!
But we have an amazing show for you guys. Like I said, my name is Alex Brown. Can't even talk tonight. And of course, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Alfred Hollywood Matthews, and we're joined once again by our Mr. Clutch, Mr. Posner. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Just had a great show, and I'll be the running producer because we're going to go back to back.
Oh, that's work. That's work. Okay, so this is your chance to get back at me. Same thing for you, Clutch. Y'all can get back at me.
Well, I don't go after people that are part of my tribe.
Preach.
Only Alfred and Clutch, not
Anyway, we're talking about returns tonight because this weekend AEW has their big Collision show, and we're going to talk about the main star because I went off on this so-called main star last week. It's one of Alfred's favorite wrestlers, but we're talking about Phil Brooks. That's his name. I'm quoting Josh Kimmel, Phil Brooks.
We got to address him as CM Punk. We're not doing that tonight.
Phil Brooks.
No. The greatest thing about CM Punk to talk about it is AJ Mendez. That's it. That's the only good thing I can say.
But we'll talk a little bit more about CM Punk later. But the first thing is about these big returns. And Alfred, you had mentioned something about a possible WWE return. So I'll let you start off on what you mentioned to me earlier about what's the big possible WWE return for Money in the Bank.
Okay, so I've read some of the dirt sheets and everything, more specifically WrestleZone.com, and they made an article saying that Drew McIntyre could possibly be back. WWE basically hoped to have Drew McIntyre back by Money in the Bank. So you can, like I said, you can look at it both ways. Apparently, the belief is he won't be back until both parties can agree on how he'll be used on WWE TV going forward. So, like I said, his deal expires early next year. So it's going to be interesting to see if he actually comes back. How they're going to work him in the storylines. Because like I said, it's going to be interesting and everything. So we'll see if that works. Me personally, I feel like if he does come back, I will have him back as a heel. Because
really?
For one reason, because Triple H, he likes to do those little kind of, if you've been noticing, he like do those little shock factors with heel turns and things recently. So I think him coming back as a heel would be a great thing, honestly.
I don't know. I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. I love Drew McIntyre. I've been on. I said at our New Year's show way back that this was going to be the year of Drew. I didn't know about his whole contract situation with WWE, which kind of sucks because, like I said, I love Drew. But Drew coming back as a heel, I could see that happening. I definitely could 100% see that happening.
And then Ryan made a good point because he's I know he's Scottish and everything, but Money in the Bank is going to be in London this year. So overseas, so actually, like I said, it actually wouldn't be too bad of an idea have him come back as a heel. Because let's be real, like if he comes back, he's definitely going to get cheers coming back because a lot of people like him and everything. And then he left as a face, so obviously mindset you're going to think, he should come back as a face. But if WWE throws that curveball and make him a heel, I actually they'll actually be a pretty damn good
Team
thing.
up McIntyre and Strowman. McIntyre and Strowman would be an okay. Cap for Life would be an okay pairing. But Clutch, what are your thoughts on Drew possibly returning at Money in the Bank and everything?
Oh, to get it out of the way, I want that to happen. I need that to happen, and I think you know why I need that to happen.
Why? Explain to the fans.
Me, myself, and I will be present in London to be at Money in the Bank.
Lucky.
Oh.
When I messaged Clutch earlier or yesterday, so I was like, "Hey, do you want to come on the show?" He's like, "I was like, hey, you want to come on the Money in the Bank show?" He goes, "Well, funny you say that is I'll actually be there." So I was like, "Well, we could do the show anyway." He goes, "Bro, it's gonna be like 3:00 in the morning." I was like, "So?" But he said no. So anyway, we brought him on today. We're gonna hear Clutch's Money in the Bank predictions, not ours. We're gonna hear Clutch's Money in the Bank predictions, but what Clutch state the reason why Drew McIntyre coming back would be a good thing for WWE, and if it's Alfred's correct, maybe it's a heel persona.
Well, the first things first. I mean, Drew last time they were over there in Europe, he didn't get his moment that he many can say he should have gotten, maybe, but the way the Bloodline storyline really has developed, I think maybe it was the right call at the time because it gave so many other things to that storyline. But he didn't get his moment in Cardiff in Clash of the Castle.
Right.
I think he should get a moment, probably not the moment, but he's going to get a moment in London, which is, I guess, close enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea of bringing him back heel, and I'll tell you why. Because I like the idea of bringing him back heel and going straight after Seth Rollins.
Okay.
And because I have a prediction that I've been saying for ever since this contract thing's been going on is that I see Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay.
And as a heel, it works because Seth is one of the most over baby faces in WWE right now.
Yep. Now, Evan, I don't think I've ever heard your thoughts on Drew McIntyre as a wrestler, but with what everyone's been saying, do you like Drew coming back as a heel? Would you rather see him as face?
I'd rather him back as a face. I just like him better as a face. But
okay.
The reason why I think Drew McIntyre needs to come back and get his moment, the way you talked about it, was the fact that he carried the WWE during COVID.
Yeah.
And he was there at Royal Rumble. Then he didn't get to experience his moment at WrestleMania where it was an empty crowd. He's never really gotten that opportunity. And I think you're going to lose a bona fide star next year if you don't give him his moment this year at some point. You can't reinvigorate it with Gunther because he's already gone through that, and you're not. So I do believe it could be a face versus face. You never know. Like I can still see him beating Seth Rollins as a face. I just like him better as a face.
Yeah.
The only thing they would have to figure out with Money in the Bank right now is they said they finalized Money in the Bank, so they're going to have to seek a seventh guy in. But I would want him in there because personally, for me, Money in the Bank, men's Money in the Bank does not impress me. It actually puts me to sleep.
And we're going to talk about it. Yeah.
Factor, but it's probably one of the worst group of six I think that's ever been there. You're using Escobar and Ricochet for all the high flying moves. You're using Butch to be the bruiser. You're using him and Nakamura. Then using LA Knight and Damian Priest as more like the power there, but it doesn't fit for me. There's no one there that nobody is going to have a loud pop. You knew last year that it was probably going to be like the year that Liv Morgan won, or the year like last year. It was when Austin Theory had it, everyone was booing. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
It was a Vince McMahon call. Like you want a shock factor. Like I was cheering when Brock Lesnar won because it was a shock factor. I think it was fun. I thought it was cool. You have to do something with this group. There's not one person there that I want as our next WWE champion or going after nothing appeals to me.
Even the news. So this brings up the question is, if Drew McIntyre comes back, do we see the possibility of him maybe taking out one of those guys, entering himself in that match and winning the contract?
Yes.
I think that would be great. We're going to talk about the Money in the Bank match in a second.
Can we all just agree that Butch is the dumbest name I've ever heard of?
He needs to go back to Pete Dunne. I'm sorry. He's Pete Dunne. He's Pete Dunne in my book. He's Pete Dunne. Now, Clutch, it's funny because you messaged me about possible returns. So who do you have as possibly returning?
I think it might be sooner rather than later as well. there was a report that Carlito just signed back with WWE after that return
He was amazing there.
at Backlash.
The dude was jacked.
It was one of the
huge.
biggest pops for a return I've ever heard for somebody as not a superstar, a mega star, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I think the report was that he called his independent booker and told him he's now no longer taking bookings because he's back with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
That's the report going out right now, and hell, I'm excited for Carlito because he looked like he was in the best shape of his life.
Yeah,
He's massively over with crowds, and it just makes sense in all angles. Hell, I would have him right away take out Austin Theory and win the U.S. title.
absolutely. That's cool. So, Alfred, based off that note, Carlito coming back to WWE. I mean, if these reports are true and he re-signed with WWE, and Clutch just said going after Theory, is there anyone else you could see, or what direction you see Carlito going?
Oh, the only direction I see, I'm personally not a fan of Carlito returning for one reason. I mean, where are you gonna place him at on the, like, as far as the roster? I mean, he definitely wasn't a main eventer. He definitely wasn't a main eventer when he was active and everything. It's like you're gonna bring him back just to like put people over, because that's like the only reason why I would see him actually returning. Is like, what's the point of bringing him back there? Like just to put other like mid-carders or so over. I think I know he definitely got a pop. I agree with Clutch on that. He got one of the biggest pops I've seen for someone that's not a superstar, most definitely. But can we expect that to happen? No offense, like it happened in Puerto Rico. Can we expect it to happen a lot in the U.S.? Him coming back?
I think so.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious.
Wait, what was that?
He's hilarious. But when he was most of the time he was here, he was a heel. When he's coming back, he's going to be 100% a face. So it's a different perspective.
No, 100%. I agree. I think the fans want him back. Not just the whole, Puerto Rico, yes, the demographic there is mainly, Latino and support of him. But Evan, you had mentioned something about LWO. Now, could you see Carlito like coming back to WWE, joining LWO?
Yeah.
And then you could flip him. You could turn him heel. Yeah. And have him feud with them.
Look, I think at one point I believe that the U.S., whether it's the U.S. Championship, he was also an Intercontinental Champion. But to get back to the point, the reason why I just want to connect back Drew as well is my prediction. What I would want to see is not Drew after Rollins, is Drew to finally to get back his moment, because the Usos are never going to win the belts. At one point, Roman Reigns is going to take a break, and I think he's going to turn. I think he's going to get it on. I think he is going to take the belt off of Roman, because for me, the Intercontinental Championship, at one point, Gunther's going to lose it, and I think he'll lose it to an up-and-coming star. And then I see Gunther and Drew McIntyre going at it sometime next year for the World Championship. I have to see Gunther one day being the World Champion. So for me, that's the sort of the path. I think Rollins, they're not going to take the belt off him so soon. I say by SummerSlam, I could see him him losing at SummerSlam, because or maybe Survivor Series or the Rumble. I don't know, but I truly believe that's what I would want.
For Roman, there's reports right now about Roman going all the way to WrestleMania 40. I mean, in Philadelphia.
Can we all just agree the fact that he's an awful wrestler? Can we just agree the fact
he's not, though? He's not. No, he's not. He's not. Okay. He is not a good wrestler. I mean, he's not a bad wrestler. He's an
Hulk Hogan was. He was as bad as Hulk Hogan was.
Oh, my God. I see Carlito beating Gunther. Okay. I can see that.
I know. Because what I was going to say was like, WWE hasn't actually been like very good booking people from like Carlito's eras, like MVP, like Shelton Benjamin, like Morrison when he was here, and then only exception is probably Lashley, and even he had like a rough year or two since he's been back and everything. So I don't think, like I said, I don't think they will book Carlito per se correctly, even if he does return. And then like I said, another thing is like, I've heard that that WWE was surprised that he got a huge pop in Puerto Rico, which I'm not. Like I said, I'm not surprised that was going to happen. But I honestly can't expect that to happen while he's in the U.S. Like I think he'll just get like a normal, like a normal, like regular, like normal Papa as a normal, like regular mid Carter would probably get, honestly. And then
I see him coming back to LWO. I think if you want to give him a pop, bring him back. Don't put him solo. Put him in a group right now. And then if it doesn't work out, then at least it didn't work out as part of the group and stuff.
But also one thing, but they need to change things up a little bit, because right now, a lot of the championships right now, especially, they're going to go back to the old school of holding on to belts for a long time. But a lot of the champions right now, I'm not truly impressed with. It's very saturated. Gunther's had it for a year, but it's always a help a little bit with Imperium, and in the end, he's going to win. Asuka coming back so far with the Mist has been awful for me. It's just been absolutely awful. Now Charlotte's back. She'll win the belt probably in a month.
I hope not. I hope not.
I know, but I'm saying Rhea for me with Mom. I'm bored. I'm already bored of her being champion. I'm just bored out of my mind. Austin Theory, I don't watch one match that he wrestles in. It's like that's the thing for me. The only championship I watch that's enjoyable right now, Rousey and Baszler just puts me to sleep. Is Zayn and Owens. They're the only must-see TV championship right now. All the other one is very predictable, and what's going on. The only one that's enjoyable right now, the leaders of and Rollins. Rollins right now, the people leading. Not even. I don't think he's Roman Reigns anymore. Right now, the people leading the charge right now are Rollins, Owens, and Zayn. The rest of them, I don't enjoy watching them right now. They need to spice it up. It's really boring.
Clutch, what are your thoughts on that?
Really boring.
I mean, in terms of who's leading the charge, I mean, I honestly think you're in the minority there, Evan, because every time
I'm Canadian, I'm supposed to be in the minority.
So many more people. Like the difference between a Friday Night SmackDown without Roman Reigns and a Friday Night SmackDown with Roman Reigns is probably like 500, 400,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot in wrestling today. So
I know.
I think he's a big, and I think you undersell the hell out of him as a wrestler, because it's not all about moves. It's all about
he's an
A+ ring psychologist guy who will sell you by facial expressions, by talking to the camera, by doing stuff like that. He's a lot there mentally, and I think he's really good at it. You say he doesn't win matches cleanly. No heel wins matches cleanly.
No.
I know, but I personally believe that Roman Reigns is not Roman Reigns without Paul Heyman. That's for me. Like he would not have the effect that he has. Like I would give the MVP more to Paul Heyman than I would to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns would not be the wrestler. His 1,000-day run would be nothing without Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the it people. I love Paul Heyman. The engagement he creates. Just Roman Reigns on his own? No, not for me.
The way I
love Paul Heyman is the reason why he's been successful. He's got it. He's become a great talker, microphone, ring psychologist because of Paul Heyman.
Yeah, the way I see it, I agree with you. Paul Heyman gave him the ball, but Roman Reigns ran with it, and we have to give him that credit.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree with that one. I agree.
Yeah, but for example, Seth Rollins doesn't need Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns needs Paul Heyman. There's a big difference.
So, are you saying that if Paul Heyman wasn't in Roman Reigns' corner, this would be a completely different year and storyline?
It'd be a bust.
Oh yeah, of course.
His reign would be
from the beginning, yes. But right now, if you split them up, Roman will still be big because he's already big.
He's already big. But for example, for me, the biggest thing, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it before. I think you guys talked about it first. Is that the biggest issue with Ronda Rousey's her entire career so far as a single wrestler is she to be the fearful person she was. She needed that mouthpiece. There's certain wrestlers that need that person because they don't come off on camera like a Bianca, like a Charlotte, like a Becky. There's certain ones who need that extra, there's people who need that extra kick in order to be successful. Roman Reigns was not over. When he was with the Shield, he was over. When he was on his own, he needed Undertaker to bring him over. He needed Rock. He needed those people. He couldn't do it on his own. That's what I think. There's certain. So for me, without Paul Heyman, that's why for me it's getting a little more saturated for me. Like we know what's going to happen. He's going to pick Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, and he's going to win. And then we all know what's going to happen. That's why I want a shock factor. I want something. Like we all knew that Solo was going to turn on his brother. We all know this stuff, but that's the problem for me right now with the WWE. Unlike AEW, it's very predictable, right? It's predictable. Like we all knew that back when Asuka won the championship, the moment the referee turned, you knew she was going to do the miss. That's the point. Is that that's the one thing I haven't been enjoying is that there's an unpredictability factor. I knew that when Roman that he was going to come just at the last moment, he was going to lose. It was very predictable. That's the problem with Roman Reigns. I know we need some sort of shock factor. I just need some. That's why I'm getting bored. It's because
Paul Heyman is the greatest heel manager. Yeah. Okay. I mean, no, I get it. I don't see it that way. I love the Bloodline storyline. I
like it, but it's saturated for me right now.
I called Jey Uso winning the title from the very beginning.
He'll never win.
Which would be a dumb decision.
Because I know Alfred wants Cody Rhodes to do it.
Yeah, I'm still mad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, viewers. I'm salty. I am salty, viewers.
Clutch, there was another superstar you had mentioned, which, if this is true,
I don't know. Hate this so much, and I love.
I don't know if once you say the name, I'm doing Alfred. He's gonna get ready for this. All right. Once he says the name, something's gonna happen. Okay, go ahead, Clutch.
Oh Lord, I know where you're going with this.
I'm going to love this, and you are all going to hate it, and I love every second.
I know where you're going with this one.
Bray Wyatt.
Oh my God, no.
The hat has returned.
Not the hat.
The hat has returned. The Bray Wyatt hat has returned.
I think there were a lot of comments early on when Bray disappeared that he took his ball and went home. He wasn't happy with creative. It's looking more and more likely now that he actually had a health issue going on.
Okay.
That they seemed, and then there was another report saying that he refused to come back until creative was right, and then Fightful, they said that's not true, that they are actually on the same page. So I think that I just hate how some people, it's okay to not like Bray Wyatt. It's okay. Trust me, but it's not okay to just hate him for reasons that aren't true.
Right.
For example, what I said, he took his ball and went home. He quit. No, that's not what happened. He probably had some health issue. Hope he's okay. And now apparently he's ready to come back. And some people hate him, but more people watch the product when names like Bray Wyatt are on the show. It's true. You can look at this at the facts at the TV ratings. So I like that he's coming back. I think he was going somewhere with what he was doing, and it sucks that Brock didn't want to work with him, which is what the report was. I think maybe the WrestleMania match with Bobby would have been better than people thought it was going to be, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
What I would like to see from Bray Wyatt when he comes back, I want to see him have a normal match, right? No lighting, no stuff like that. Just wrestle. He's a good wrestler. He's had decent wrestling matches in the past against John Cena at WrestleMania, stuff like that. So the one thing I do want to see from Bray Wyatt is just to wrestle a normal match. Let him wrestle. He's over with the crowd.
So, Alfred, if Bray Wyatt does come back, do you see him and I completely agree with Clutch, let him come back, but does he come back as just Bray Wyatt, or does he have to bring his other personas with him?
I heard eventually I heard a rumor about they want to bring him back as the Fiend. I've heard that, and like I said, a lot of people have mixed opinions on that on that gimmick. I actually loved the Fiend when he was coming back as when he was had that character. So if he were to come back, I'm hoping that that's the case, that he has that's the persona that he has back, because let's be real, we can all say, hey, Firefly Funhouse and all that stuff and things like Vigorettes and everything, it is eventually going to get old and everything, and kind of still it kind of was, in my opinion. So just bringing them back as the Fiend would be pretty good to me. I mean, I don't see him coming back with a stable, with another Wyatt family stable, obviously. So what other like gimmick would you have him back as? And like I said, the Fiend actually makes sense to me. I would bring him back as the Fiend, honestly.
There was
'Cause
a crazy idea
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw floating around. I think it was more of a suggestion, more so than speculation or whatever. That what if he teams up with? What if he like not manages, but he's like the leader of a group with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn,
Mm.
because they seem to be into all that spooky stuff that Bray's into, and they actually Alba and Isla, they do it really well. So I think that could work. That's more of a suggestion that I saw going around.
Yeah.
Report, anything like that, but I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Like, I wonder what would happen if with Uncle Howdy if Bray Wyatt
No.
comes back.
No. Howdy's dead. Howdy, exact kept for life. Don't bring back. No, Howdy is absolutely dead. Now, Evan, what thoughts on Bray Wyatt coming back? Possibly.
Possibly. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind it, but it would have to be at a high level, like the mid card, because he was too mid card level. The thing that bothered me the most and why they have to bring him back, I think they have to, is they made a huge decision in letting him and the Undertaker sort of coexist together in the ring, and him whispering something in his ear during that anniversary show. That has to mean something. So if you don't bring him back, that's going to be the lasting memory of the Undertaker. Think about that. The Undertaker doesn't ever come back, and that's the last time you ever saw him. He whispered something in Bray Wyatt's ear, basically passing the torch, and then you don't see and then he never comes back again. That's going to be a huge letdown. I enjoy Bray Wyatt. I think he's fun.
I do. I look, when Bray Wyatt first came back, I was super ecstatic. Like I was watching it with my buddy Ryan, and I said, "Oh my God, it's happening! It's happening! It's happening!" And when it did happen, I was super, super excited for him. And then I don't know what WWE was thinking with storylines, but they just took him in like a wonky way, feuding with LA Knight, fighting with the ring lights dimmed, or Uncle Howdy, who everyone thought was his brother, Bo Dallas, who I was really expecting that to pop up, for Bo Dallas to finally appear back in WWE, and then you have Bray and Bo to get. I would love that to have that happen. If he comes back, bring his brother with him, because I don't know if y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but I thought one of Bray's stipulations for coming back was that his brother came back with him. Did y'all hear about that or no?
I don't think I heard about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
So, I don't know.
I didn't hear about that one either.
All I know is that if I had to hang out with Bray Wyatt, I'd always pay my taxes.
There you go. Amen.
Because no one was funnier than his father. That guy was was hilarious as IRS. I always paid my taxes.
Is there anybody that y'all could see coming back? AEW, WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, like anybody that we have not seen in a while that y'all can see coming back?
RKO.
Who?
Randy.
Oh yeah.
Randy has to come back. He needs one final run. Randy.
Okay.
Is it too early for Big E to come back?
I mean, it's been over a year, but that neck injury was really bad. So
yes, yeah. I don't know. Big E coming back would be a nice one.
Randy's gonna get a huge pop, because whether he's a heel or whether he's a face, he just gets the crowd.
I could see Randy coming back at SummerSlam.
I want to see him do a little something with whether it's teaming up or going against. I'd like to see him do a little something with Cody.
Yeah, but also I could see him turning.
I think he's coming back.
I could see him coming back at one point with Riddle.
Okay.
And then turning on Riddle.
Yeah. That's what everybody wanted. They wanted, because I read reports that they were going to have Riddle turn on Randy and have Riddle be heel. I'm like, Riddle as a heel wouldn't really work well, in my opinion.
It'll never work.
Orton is
clearly
clearly be the better heel out of the
Orton turning on Randy or on Riddle, or now he goes by Matt Riddle now. He doesn't go by Riddle.
God, what a
I can't
dummy
even take
Riddle.
Riddle seriously. So it's like, as a heel, I definitely not gonna take him seriously as a heel. Honestly,
I think if he does come back, it'll be his kind of like his last run. His injuries have gotten to the best of him, and I mean, when was the last time we even saw Randy Orton?
That tag team match where he got beat down by the Bloodline.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
over a year ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So talking about Money in the Bank, Evan, you had mentioned Money in the Bank, about how the card this year is, in Evan's words, crappy.
Shitty.
Yeah, it's underwhelming.
Snorefest.
So Clutch,
They only announced 5 matches so far too.
right? Clutch, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the current Money in the Bank men's match right now?
Yeah.
I think the current men's Money in the Bank match is booked how Money in the Bank was intended to be booked.
Okay.
It wasn't intended to be booked as main event star, wins briefcase, wins championship. No. The Money in the Bank was originally win the Money in the Bank briefcase as a mid-carder and elevate yourself to main event status. That's what it was. You saw when Edge originally won it. He won his first world title. When RVD world title, CM Punk elevated him to a world title. I think that's what it's meant to be, and that's why on paper it's not attractive. I think the match itself, when you watch it, you're gonna come out of it saying it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody here said that there's nobody the crowd's gonna get behind go crazy for, I disagree, because in the U.S., where the crowds have been here and there, they're still very loud for LA Knight.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah.
I think in London that place would be a madhouse for LA Knight, because he's the type of guy the internet loves. The internet, usually what the internet loves coincides with what UK crowds do, because they get behind in the same way. I think LA Knight is probably the favorite for the crowd to win. I think Damian Priest could win. And you mentioned about a 7th guy being added and it being Drew. I disagree. I don't think he's going to be in the match. I think the 7th guy added is going to be Logan Paul.
Oh God, give me a break.
And you're going to end up loving every spot he does in that match, even though you're saying "ugh" right now.
I don't know. I'm just like, okay, Logan Paul.
I will never let my kids drink Prime just because I hate Logan
Prime's
Paul.
not that bad. I've had Prime.
No, but I won't let them drink it because I hate Logan Paul.
So
I mean, it's not a coincidence that Logan Paul's going to be on Raw.
Exactly. Yes. And I was just about to say that he is appearing on Raw. But I know the whole rumor right now is Logan Paul versus John Cena at SummerSlam. That's the big thing right now. And I guess it may start with Money in the Bank. But Clutch, who would you have? Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny being in the Money in the Bank match would actually be kind of sick. Not lying, but who would you say is the winner of that match, since you're not going to be on our preview show?
I want and I hope it's LA Knight. I think he's that kind of person that, because you have a year to cash in Money in the Bank, so he can walk around with that briefcase for a whole year while the Bloodline stuff dies out, while Roman goes on his break, and then somebody else is champion. He can just sit with the briefcase, do the heel briefcase stuff is awesome. Like the stuff that Seth Rollins did when he won Money in the Bank, it was awesome. He the chicken shit heel that runs away, does all that stuff. I think LA Knight is perfect for that kind of role, and he could hold on to that for months and months and months, and then finally catch in, and it's going to be a loud ass pop, and he's going to be elevated to that main event level, because I think he's underrated in the ring as well, other than how good he is on the mic that we all know.
I personally disagree, because I feel that the way that WWE is predictable, a face is going to win the men's and a heel is going to win the women's. Because last year we had to put up with Austin Theory and then Liv won. This year I think it's going to be faces turn with the men and a heel with the women.
Okay. Now,
I can see a Zoe Stark or an EO winning, and I don't know who the last person's going to be.
I'm going to save our predictions. Yeah.
And I really do see. That's why I actually do see that they need to throw another guy in there because they might recap Shinsuke. But for me, Ricochet, I don't see him as a WWE champion. Of the guys that are there, it has to be right now. The only guy I would be cheering for is Shinsuke.
So Evan, but you got to remember that if you win the briefcase, you can cash in on any title. Doesn't necessarily have to be.
That. But I know that with the WWE, if you go look at the history, it's very often they flip it every year. Heel, face, heel, face, heel, face, heel, face. That's what they do.
Normally, they always have somebody cash in that night. If you look at it,
yeah,
somebody normally cashes it, and I think it's been the women.
That night and Seth is not. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think women hold the Money in the Bank briefcase for long.
No.
Yeah. So but I don't see. So for example, I don't see. I could see someone. I could see, like, for example, if they say they throw in there that Charlotte's facing
Asuka.
Asuka, yeah. I could see because they've done this to her so many times. She wins it and then she loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're gonna Asuka and Charlotte's gonna be on SmackDown, not Money in the Bank.
Oh, true. But for me, the one I would love is I would love to see EO take it on Asuka. I'd love to see that. Because I'd love to see EO as a face and turn on, and then I'd love to see EO as a face against Asuka.
Oh yeah, well, Clutch for the women's match, I think they still have one more spot, but I think out of all the competitors, I don't know if you know who they are.
I can name them for you if you want.
Please.
Selena, Becky, Zoe, Bailey, EO.
Okay, and then one more to be determined. I think tomorrow night. Last one. So out of those, who do you see winning?
I want to say EO, but I feel like her and Bailey's thing needs to play out a little bit more.
Okay.
And having the money, or maybe EO could win and they could feud over the Money in the Bank briefcase. EO ends up keeping it.
Right.
Yeah, you can have EO win the briefcase. They have a match because she's jealous or something at SummerSlam. EO wins, and then down the road you have Asuka versus EO because EO cashed in. That could happen. I don't think Becky and Zoe, they're clearly in a thing with Trish.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm interested to see who the last person is going to be because everything's been announced for both Money in the Banks except for that one person. My dark horse for the match would be Zelina Vega because I just feel like those scrappy underdogs with the briefcase also works to their favor.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's I cannot wait for Alfred, you and I to talk about our preview show in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
From today.
2 weeks.
Oh
yeah.
Stay tuned for that one. Before we move on to our next topic, everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe to the FinTalk Sports Network. All the great content. Subscribe to our show, No Holds Barred, right there in the middle. See, pointing at it right now. No Holds Barred. FinTalk Sports Network, great content. Evan had his show right before his. Clutch has his basketball show. I know we've got our big NBA draft live react show next Thursday with our Alfred and I's Rockets having the 4th pick, probably drafting a guy that you say his first name after you say a prayer. So
but I'm on the Cam Whitmore train.
You're definitely getting one of the twins.
Yeah, I have a feeling that. I don't know if I'd rather have an Amen or an Aswar. So I'd rather have a Jarris. I'm just saying, but
no, you're your favorite. You're gonna end up back with Harden. Well, Harden will be
probably. It's okay. But amazing content. But one thing that I do want to talk about, and this was just reported by Nick Khan, who's one of the VPs in WWE. He has stated that there's going to be a lot of shifting between superstars from the main roster and NXT going back and forth. And I don't know if any of y'all have been keeping up with it, but Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, Braun Baker just called out Seth Rollins. Now they're fighting for the title. And what's his name?
Baron Corbin.
Who's Los Lotharios? Those twins. Angel Garza and whatever his name is. They're back on NXT. So, Alfred, I'll start with you first. what are your thoughts on WWE mixing it up again to where the NXT and main roster guys are shifting back and forth, trying to basically build up the NXT brand?
You basically nailed it on the head. What I was going to say. Is get. I guess the point is to make like make more people, I guess, tune into NXT when you have recognizable faces from main rosters to go over there. And like I said, Ryan made a good point because we were talking about it earlier at work. Seth is supposed to go to NXT and he's going to challenge Braun Breaker. And had I, like I said, if I didn't know Seth was over there, I definitely wouldn't be watching NXT. But now I know since Seth is going over there, it's going to make me watch NXT. So I think that's the same thing as far as having like recognizable faces on main rosters to come to NXT to get viewers to like turn into NXT because we know those main roster stars.
Yeah.
And what better way to get NXT wrestlers exposure is to let them go against people that we are familiar with, you know. So I think that's like a genius idea from WWE's perspective on that end.
So now, Clutch, do you see this possibly like backfiring on the fact that, you know, these guys are supposed to be main roster talent, but I guess it's more of like a developmental thing, I think. But do you see it possibly backfiring on WWE doing this?
I don't think so. I mean, rarely you're going to see very, very recognizable names going to NXT. You see here Seth Rollins, right? And that's a big exception. Obviously, he's a world heavyweight champion. But if you look at currently everybody else from the main roster going to NXT to do something, Los Lotharios, Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, they're not doing anything in the main roster. It's giving them reps to do stuff. So if they're under contract, use them in some way. Have them go down to NXT, have some matches with the development guys who need some ring time with veterans, and it just benefits everybody. I don't think you're going to see a flurry of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, guys like that going down to NXT. The Seth Rollins thing, I get it because that's the goal. Get everybody to watch NXT. Seth Rollins is there, you're going to watch.
Right.
But it doesn't happen very often. It happened, and it's not like it hasn't been going on for a while now. You've seen Johnny Gargano, you've seen AJ Styles go, you've seen, I forget other names, but there's been names going down for a while now. Not the biggest one, obviously, is going to be Seth, but the ones that constantly go down aren't big talent. Most of them are stuck in catering, so use them.
Okay.
Let them wrestle in NXT. I don't think it backfires.
Yeah, no. Evan, now I know we're mentioning Braun Breaker, and I read a report today that Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker are supposedly on their way up to the main roster in a couple weeks. Do you watch NXT at all? Okay. So with Ilya Dragunov, I think is an amazing talent. Braun Breaker just scares the living shit out of me. The way he looks so much like his father.
I'm just waiting for him to bark. That's what I do.
You wait for him to bark.
I'm waiting for him to bark like his dad.
Right. So I want to talk about, I talked about the negative effects of it. Now I'm going to ask you about what do you see as like positive effects of WWE shifting the superstars back and forth?
I sort of guess it gives a little more play, or gives, I guess, a little taste for people who don't watch NXT to tune into it to see what they're about to get. This is really a Triple H play. He loves NXT. I think he's just trying to build them up. I think similar to, they did a little bit of reverse where Cena didn't go down, but they brought an NXT champion and they brought up Kevin Owens, and look what that did for Kevin Owens' career. So I think they're trying to catapult Braun Breaker, because I think what they're trying to turn Braun Breaker into is like sort of the next Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
When he first gets there, that powerful guy who doesn't care what anybody else thinks, is going to come out of nowhere, to break up matches and squash, and that's what I think he'll end up doing when he comes up. I just hope they don't pull off what they did in the past with Omos and other. I hate that. There are these squash matches with him. You need to bring him into a real sort of like Kevin Owens. You need to bring him in.
He's got one of the nastiest spears in wrestling.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That thing is disgusting.
It is disgusting. And the other part for me, Dragunov, and he sort of gives me that. he reminds me of. I don't know if you guys remember that. He reminds me of the. It's not a different ilk. He sort of reminds me of Rugged Ronnie Garvin. It's that guy who, no matter what, the guy may not win a lot of matches, but you know that at the end of the match you're going to come out hurting.
Yeah.
And like so that the Dino Bravos of the world, the Rugged Ronnie Garvins of the world, the guys who you don't want to face because you know they're going to kick your ass in the ring. And that's what I like about Dragunov. He lost because he got interfered with last match against Baron, but he's a lot of fun to watch because you know it's going to be a tough match you're going to have to face him. So
yeah.
I think he'll have a lot of fun. Like he's going to go through those matches where he's going to win a lot, he's going to lose a lot more than he wins. But mano mano, those matches are going to be must see because he's a lot of fun to watch.
I just hope that some of these NXT superstars that come up, like Finn Balor experienced it, and I guess this is something that just goes with business. Is Finn Balor had to go back down to build his stock back up, and then rejoin the main roster and all that. I think you're going to have that with some of these NXT superstars that like Grayson Waller. I love Grayson Waller. I think he needs to actually fight somebody instead of he does his show. I think they're just doing that just for TV time. But I think you're going to eventually see some of these guys that do come up have to go back down and all that. Like Omos, I don't care if Omos is in an arena. I don't care about Omos. Nobody watches Omos.
Yeah. The two wrestlers who got really did not benefit from leaving NXT, and you saw it when they tried to build them up and it never worked, was Ricochet and Johnny Gargano. Those were two guys who just never found their... Like, to this day, Ricochet, except for the fact that he has a beautiful girlfriend, everything else, who has the best voice, I think, ever.
Yeah, and yeah.
But when she calls Imperium and when she calls Roman, with her calling him, he has never found his niche. He's been in and out. Johnny Gargano, same thing happened. Like some of these guys just don't belong. So you either need to give them you have to be very strategic because most of the guys they've brought up have had to either team up with somebody else or just fallen on their face.
I think Johnny Gargano is waiting for Tommaso Ciampa to come back. Tommaso Ciampa, I think that's what they're waiting for Johnny to recreate that group.
But there's certain guys, like there's certain people that even for me, I understand they forced it. I personally believe. Like Charlotte has been a blooming success. Sasha was a blooming success. Bayley was a blooming. For me, Asuka has cruised. I don't think she's been a star. She's not. She's nowhere never going to be the star that she was in NXT. The four horsewomen have been. Rhea Ripley has grown from it. Baszler has suffered from it. They have not built certain wrestlers you can easily see a lot of them have not been successful in WWE, and they should maybe stayed in NXT. And now they're mid-carders, even though they were top card in NXT. Some of them have. So there's been more losses than wins, but the wins have been great.
Yeah. Great
so they
stuff.
have to be very careful. They have to be. With Braun Breaker, they can't screw this up. They have to. I'm telling you, they have to make him like a Brock Lesnar. He's the next version of Brock.
I agree. No, I agree. I 100% agree. Now, Alfred, we're going to talk about Phil Brooks. Okay.
Oh, it's CM Punk. We ain't doing this tonight.
Okay. I said last week that they ruined the CM Punk coming back, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. All right. CM Punk coming back, I think would have been a bigger pop if it would have been a surprise instead of Tony Khan coming back next week. CM Punk.
He is the worst guy on mic I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God! I'd rather see two chipmunks hump in a corner.
He should be giving if he was a genius, Eric Bischoff would be running an AEW. If he could suck him away, because he needs a face. He cannot be the guy doing these announcements. He needs a voice. Give Paul Heyman $100 million. I don't care. Do something, but get a guy who knows what the heck he's doing. You have no idea what the heck you're doing in terms of. But every time you speak, it has no pop. It has no it factor. It's boring.
Yeah. Alfred, I'm going to have you talk last. I'm going to start with Clutch first because I already know your opinions on CM Punk, and I'll let everyone else hear. But I'll start with Clutch's opinions on CM Punk coming back this weekend for the premiere episode of AEW Collision, which is going to be their second show. They're trying to do a Raw SmackDown type thing. So, Clutch, what are your thoughts on CM Punk coming back?
It's weird for me because I like CM Punk. Well, I used to like CM Punk We'll say that.
Yep.
Because I popped when he came to AEW for the first time. When he showed up, everybody went crazy. He had his run, and then, but it seems after, I just feel like after that incident at All Out, he's handled everything wrong. Now apparently there's a ESPN interview he's making that people aren't happy with.
Yep.
Right
Oh
before
yeah,
he returns,
I heard that one.
and they say the locker room already is not receiving that too well. I think
I heard
he's
that
just,
one.
and he's showing up to Monday Night Raw backstage. He's showing up to Impact. I just, it's weird because I think it's a Tony Khan thing here because he knows that CM Punk doesn't need AEW. AEW kind of needs CM Punk for the ratings boost. I mean, when CM Punk was there, the ratings were over 1 million, for example. Now they're barely cracking 800,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Tony Khan. I mean, CM Punk. Let's be honest. CM Punk has Tony Khan by the balls.
Yes.
So you need somebody like, I see this online and people sometimes get mad. Like, oh, do you think Vince would like bend over for CM Punk like this? But maybe not. Do you think Triple H would bend over for CM Punk? Not really. So I think it's just, you need somebody there with a backbone, because I think having CM Punk is absolutely great, but only when he's being led by somebody in the company as the owner, the booker, whatever you call it, that actually has the backbone to tell him no when it's no. Because he's going to come back and he's going to run roughshod on AEW doing whatever he wants. That you already know it's going to happen, and Tony Khan's going to turn a blind eye unless another, God forbid, because I don't ever want to see anybody get fired or anything like that, another incident happens where somebody fights backstage because of CM Punk.
Right.
That's why I say I really like CM Punk. Like, I was a huge fan of him in WWE. I always wanted him to come back, and I liked him in his initial AEW run before he got hurt. But everything after All Out, he's just done the wrong way, and I don't like the way he does things. So, yeah, I'm kind of just so angry that I can't be happy for him because he just seems to shoot himself and everybody around him in the foot.
And like Evan, like Clutch made a good point. What makes to say that his blow up won't happen again? It probably will.
No, he's I don't want to use him, but he's toxic. And the one thing I think about when I see CM Punk, if I was watching AEW Collision, is he does a particular motion back when he was WWE. I don't know if he does as much as AEW before he does his finisher, and that's what I do when CM Punk comes on. The way he does in WWE, the way he's coming in and out, back and forth, the fact that, like he said, he's not a team player. It's all about CM Punk. And a developmental brand that's still trying to find its footing, I would not rest my laurels on CM Punk. Because 99.9% of the time, he's going to disappoint.
No, and I don't know if y'all saw Dynamite this week on Wednesday. When they showed the little video package, they booed. The fans booed him.
Of course.
Because no one except Alfred is excited for CM Punk to come back.
I mean, it's not just me. It's Chicago. It's mostly the whole Chicago. They're excited. They're excited about him.
Right now, Alfred, you got almost like 3 against 1 on like, we're not thrilled to see CM Punk come back, but like,
I mean, anytime CM Punk comes back on TV, it's must watch. So I'm not sure why y'all don't want to say he's not worth coming back and y'all don't like him coming back. He's going to get y'all to watch, believe it or not.
He's going to come back and people are going to watch, but it's just going to be a matter of time before he just fucks it all up again. Sorry for that.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's right. He's going to mess it up.
Hey, I mean, like I said, he's much watched, but if I'm booked, he's definitely not going to get when he comes back for Collision, he's definitely not getting a pop that he had when he made his debut, obviously, cause even though it's in Chicago. I'm excited for him to come back for just one reason. I want to see how they're going to book him when he comes back. If they book him as a heel coming back, it's a lot of different directions they can go if they make him a heel and just come back. And I think I said it on the last show last week. Just imagine him coming out and everything. Obviously, gonna get a pop, and then he just all of a sudden just make a heel type promo out of nowhere. Like bashing Khan and other people, the back like other wrestlers and everything. That will actually get um like they'll actually get people saying like talking like about CM Punk a lot. So that's how I would book him. I'm obviously gonna watch it when he comes back on Collision, but um I'm excited about Punk. Like I said, Punk is one of my favorite of all time after Stone Cold. So anything he does, I'm tuned in. I don't care if he wrestling at TNA. I'm gonna watch TNA for CM Punk. So
You know who should come back and fight him is Colt Cabana.
Coco, I knew you was
Colt
gonna say
Cabana should come back.
I knew you was gonna.
I think that's something that they should do. That Colt Cabana should come in, and then Colt just gives him the little like cheap shot and all that. They like see
him and Hangman Page.
So wouldn't it be nice if he showed? It'd be so CM Punk for them to promote, and he doesn't show up.
I know. So I was reading about possible feuds for CM Punk and all that, and one of the ones they're saying right now is Chris Jericho. So that obviously would make CM Punk a face if he were to feud with the JAS, but he on Saturday night, I think that's going to be his show. I don't think he's going to appear on Dynamite. I think he's going to be strictly a Collision guy, and I'm guessing what I'm saying is if he does, he's teaming with I think FTR. I think Saturday night. I don't know. I'm not like I'm gonna watch Collision. Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I want to see. Obviously, CM Punk's gonna open the show. If he doesn't, that's stupid. Okay, CM Punk should open the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like he did at his return.
And I think when he opens the show, whoever it is that comes out, someone needs to interrupt him. Or they may just give him his moment. Let's see, he comes on the mic and says, I screwed up, everyone. Which I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't know. I'm just not excited for CM Punk to be back. I like Clutch was saying, I loved CM Punk. He was outstanding. All right. He was outstanding on the mic. His in-ring skills were okay. His wife's really hot. And, I don't know. I need a reassurance that CM Punk is going to be the guy that, like Clutch also was saying, that his first day back on AEW, I mean, the world went ballistic. I mean, just absolutely ballistic.
I regret not going to that show too. I was really considering going to that show too, but things got in the way. I wanted to be in the building for that.
So before we head off, Clutch, since you will be at Money in the Bank, what are you looking forward to being there? First off, number one. Number two, what are you going to wear? Okay, we got to know what shirt you're going to rock.
Oh, Lord.
And three, can you send me a souvenir?
Well, three, probably not. I'm looking forward to the potential surprises when we're talking about Carlito. I'll go crazy for Carlito. And more so Drew McIntyre. Because if they go the direction that I pointed out earlier about going straight after Seth, I think it's going to be a really good match and a really good setup. I'm looking forward to that. And, of course, looking forward to LA Knight. And I'm going to be wearing my LWO hoodie that I just got on the mail the other day. Be wearing that. I'm also going to be going to the Undertaker show, the One Dead Man show. So that's going to be awesome.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm super, super jealous. Absolutely super jealous. If
pictures for you, don't worry.
If I send you a no holds barred like logo or something on it, can you hold it up in the crowd?
Yeah, by the time he gets here, I'm gonna be gone.
No, I'll send it to you. I'll just send you a picture of our logo on Twitter, and you just print it out and hold it up.
We can discuss.
I'm trying to get some free promotion in London. Some guy's gonna be like, "Who's this wank holding up NHB? What does that mean?" But it's okay. It's okay. My accents are terrible. I know. Evan, is there? What are you looking forward to? Are you going to come on? You want to come on in 2 weeks for?
I'll let you know. Depends on
Okay.
where I am.
But what, as far as what wrestling storylines right now are you excited about? Overall,
Not much.
You said you only like Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens, yeah, but there's no real storyline there. Now they just faced Imperium, so I think there'll be a little bit there. But that I like watching them wrestle, but there's nothing exciting there. Yeah, you want to see what happens with Jimmy and Jay and with Roman. That's sort of going to play out. I'll watch that. I want to see Bianca turn heel and lose her mind. I think that's going to be fantastic. I want to see that spin. But I want to see, like I said, I want to see what I expected Money in the Bank. I want to see a face for the men, and I want to see a heel for the women, and I want Io Sky to get her chance, and I want Shinsuke to get a redemption from a couple years ago because he's a phenomenal wrestler. And I want to see, I love to see Drew come back, but for me right now, I just want to see I want more shock factor. I want more shock factor.
Alfred, tell all the CM Punk fans what they should be happy for.
Say one time.
I said, tell all the CM Punk fans that are watching this show right now why they're going to be happy this weekend.
Oh, they're going to be happy this weekend because, like I said, CM Punk is much watched TV. Like I made a thing on Twitter. It was like the tweet was like saying, name a wrestling take. They'll have you looking like this. You know, that little meme where they have like the swords that they one guy. I made a tweet a while back. WWE needs CM Punk more than CM Punk needs WWE. And people said I was insane saying that. It's the same thing with AEW. AEW needs CM Punk more than CM Punk needs AEW.
Okay.
I'm sure our friend of the show, Josh, is going to love CM Punk's return.
Oh, I'm sure that's why I should have messaged him and been like, Josh, do you want to come on? Because I think he does his own show right before this one, on Real Talk Wrestling. So, and his is strictly AEW. So I would have loved to hear his opinion on this, obviously. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Clutch, have an amazing time at Money in the Bank. It's going to be an amazing show. Clutch, let people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Miami Clutch PE. You can also find me doing the Fast Break show in this very network on Tuesdays. On next Thursday, we're going to do the NBA draft, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, that's it.
Evan?
You can find me all over the Finstock Sports Network, producing, hosting the Fins Bandwagon, and when there's hockey shows, we're going to do What the Puck, probably do it around the draft time as well. We have a hockey show now coming on, I'm doing with Josh Kimmel, and then you'll see me in the background producing various shows for the Finstock Network, and you can find me on Twitter at FinsPod.
Alfred?
Oh, they can find me on _Matthew713. I probably won't be on the draft show because I'm actually be at the Rockets draft party live, so I might join in after the picks are made if we keep pick 20, and I might actually join in and everything. But you can follow me, especially on next Thursday because I might be saying some stuff. Hey, I might say something I might regret it, depending on how it goes that night.
Right. And you can follow me at AlexBB29, but more importantly, follow our podcast page, which is at capital N, capital H, capital B to that bar podcast, so capital NH bar podcast. Subscribe to the FinTalk Sports Network. If you are interested, I know we're trying to develop a Miami Marlins show for the network, a specific Miami Marlins show, and then a specific baseball show. So if you're interested in doing a baseball show on the network, not talk about the Montreal Expos, no one cares. Sorry. I got muted, everyone. The host got muted. Please message us. He's gonna rock the Expos hat now. Got you. But more importantly, guys, we will not be doing a show next week because of the NBA draft show, like Clutch stated. So we will be back in 2 weeks for the Money in the Bank preview show. Definitely stay tuned for that. All our predictions. We're gonna break down the pay-per-view from start to finish. So that's gonna be 2 weeks of wrestling coverage. You know, we have AEW's Forbidden Kingdom coming up as well. So with that, I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Here in Houston, it is about 195 degrees with humidity that makes us about 300. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. We will see you guys in 2 weeks, baby. Peace.
Expos.
No.